Zheani'S philosophy and the occult, an analysis. Ziani Sparks is an Australian underground musician, artist and self-proclaimed occultist. In this video essay I will perform a meta-analysis of the occult themes present in Ziani's body of work, both lyrical and visual, as well as focus on a few succinct examples to speculate on her personal philosophy. While Ziani has been outwardly associated with the typical rock and roll tropes of Satanism, I will argue her art actually presents a synthesis of both Christianity and pagan occultism, in which she inhabits both positive and negative archetypes, illustrating that, in the words of Zheani'S, the line between good and evil runs down every soul. Going through the religious, occult and philosophical references within Ziani's music, I categorize them into the following. Biblical references. Occult or pagan references. Spells in form of lyrics. Nietzschean references. The number of Christian biblical references outnumber the other categories. While her music is by no means Christian, the devil or demons are held as at least a metaphorical evil, and angels are held as good. This fact alone disqualifies her as satanic, because within Satanism, this moral order would be intentionally inverted. While it could be considered sacrilege to compare the abuse of women within the entertainment industry to the Passion of Christ, as in Fuck the Hollywood Cult, or subversive to undermine the meaning of Exoduses and eye for an eye as in Tarantulas, it is nevertheless evident that the shame of gluttony and lust, as portrayed in Forgotten, are portrayed in clear Christian moral terms. Where this trend abruptly deviates is on Ziani's song, Whore of Babylon.
The woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth.
Here the duality of Ziani is underscored. Mystery, the mother of harlots. I am drunken with the blood of the saints, she's in me. Within Whore of Babylon, Ziani evokes and identifies with the biblical Whore of Babylon, referring to both the symbolic female figure and place of evil mentioned in the book of Revelation in the Bible. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints, and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus, and when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. Many biblical scholars believe that Babylon is a metaphor for the pagan Roman Empire that at the time persecuted Christians. Perhaps in this very same way Ziani refers to our current time as a kind of Babylon, an authoritarian, decadent and sinful realm. A place that she is very much so a product of. Or perhaps she is referring to herself as the Scarlet Woman, Great Mother or Mother of Abominations, who is a goddess found in the occult system of Thelema. In her most abstract form, Babylon represents the female sexual impulse and the liberated woman. Mother Earth, in her most fertile sense, in contrast to archetypal masculine monotheism. Along with her status as an archetype or goddess, Babylon also has an earthly aspect or avatar, a living woman who occupied the spiritual office of the Scarlet Woman. Is Ziani the fertile Scarlet Woman? Or is she a sinful creature, the product of a sinful world? This duality of meanings perfectly leads to the next section concerning occult or pagan references. Ziani self-identifies as an occultist, and her music and art is filled with references. Paganism in her lyrics is presented as morally neutral. She both suffers from occultic assaults and at least metaphorically practices magic. Ziani identifies with the persecution of witches in songs such as Burn the Witch. A narrative thread connects the speaking of truth and links it directly with harassment, oppression and cleansing fire. The same metaphorical fire that burns her for speaking the truth in a song like Burn the Witch, is used by her as weapon, on songs such as, The Hook is a Prayer, and Tarantulas. For Ziani, magic is a double-sided sword. While it's a force that she wields against her enemies, it's also a dark force invoked against her as represented in the question. As well as a gospel that has hurt her, and caused her to lose her innocence, in her song Skinwalker. Ziani wields magic through her music, as I will outline next in the section about spells in the form of lyrics. To begin, I will read Ziani's own words on the subject from her photo book Rituals.
In this book, I have used creating art as a metaphor for creating sigils, but the vice versa is also true. It is possible to treat creating art as ritual, thereby imbuing it with deeper intention and making the work itself a kind of symbolic form. Art is itself a kind of magic and has since its first documented examples been linked with the divine. Fertility idols are symbolic forms created from an intention such as may the world be fertile. Cave paintings were created from an intention such as live in balance with nature. All prehistoric art was indistinguishable from magic. Many artists consider themselves to be conduits, picking up on frequencies and merely expressing them in aesthetic or musical form. For your art to be magic, you must attempt to reverse this conduit relationship and communicate into the ether, rather than just receiving inspiration from it.
Deciding which references to include in this section was difficult, as according to Ziani, all her music can be considered magic. In her song Meaning Happiness, Ziani asserts her intention to give up happiness in order to gain meaning or become gold. In alchemy, the term chrysopia refers to the artificial production of gold, most commonly by the transmutation of metals. Ziani has stated,
I wanted to dive back into embarrassing memories that I have for the longest time suppressed, and through a process like alchemy, transmute them into music. My hope is the project will help me finally resolve and leave these memories behind, and also help others that have gone through similar experiences feel less alone.
Ziani's lyrics show numerous references to philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche. It would be impossible to try and explain Nietzsche's philosophy in this video essay, but I will try to connect a few of his concepts to Ziani. Pagan gods are beyond good and evil, and in paganism, humanity's place is understood as among the gods. The place that is beyond good and evil is this world, the world of nature. In her song Brave New World, Ziani references Nietzsche's God is dead.
God is dead. God remains dead. And we have killed him. How shall we comfort ourselves, the murderers of all murderers? What was holiest and mightiest of all that the world has yet owned has bled to death under our knives? Who will wipe this blood of us? What water is there for us to clean ourselves? What festivals of atonement, what sacred games shall we have to invent? Is not the greatness of this deed too great for us? Must we ourselves not become gods simply to appear worthy of it?
In Bleed for Me, Ziani references Nietzsche's concept of eternal recurrence. The theory that existence recurs in an infinite cycle as energy and matter transform over time. In presenting the idea of eternal recurrence, Nietzsche asks us not to take the idea as truth but to ask ourselves what we would do if the idea were true. A thread can also be drawn to the Wheel of Time of Hinduism and Buddhism that Ziani references in her song We Are All Going to Die. I will next analyze the possible meaning behind the symbols used by Ziani using the I Hate People on the Internet music video as a source. With Ziani, it is difficult to be certain which imagery is meant to express meaning, and which is used purely for aesthetics. Regardless, I will reference images that I believe buttress my previous assertions. In the previous section on biblical references, I asserted that Ziani considers demons and the devil to be an archetypal evil. In the I Hate People on the Internet music video, the demons as well as images of Moloch appear crossed out. Moloch is an ancient Canaanite god connected to child sacrifice. It is portrayed as a bull-headed idol with outstretched hands over a fire. This depiction takes the brief mentions of Moloch in the Bible and combines them with various sources, including ancient accounts. Moloch continues to be worshipped by members of the elite, including Hollywood, politicians and world leaders, as seen at Bohemian Grove. As documented by independent journalists as well as mainline media such as the Washington Post. But as with everything Ziani, duality emerges. In her work, ancient pagan fertility goddesses as well as Kali Ma and Diana of Ephesus are all presented in positive or neutral light. In Ziani's own words on Kali Ma,
Krim. Kali Kia. Nama. She is black and she is the darkness known as time, the mother and death of the universe.
Kali Ma is a Hindu goddess who is considered to be the goddess of ultimate power, time, destruction and change. She is the supreme of all powers, or the ultimate reality. In Ziani's world, evil is an enemy, but destruction, change, and the free divine feminine is not evil. I will conclude with more of Ziani's own words.
Let danger be your spirit. Feel your feet cut dancing on the edge of the knife and slip down into the meat of things. The good die young. Let goodness itself be defined by its proximity to the finitude of life. The youth in reckless abandon, that moment suspended, held up above all will. Rush towards death. Live fully, all abound with folly. Death awaits and hates its imitation.
And finally, a warning from Ziani's book.
Embracing the occult can lead to isolation and social ostracization. It can lead to psychological damage, unwanted results, and even possession. There is no safe way to practice the occult, and it is by definition a dangerous act. Ignorance is bliss, for what a woman has yet not encountered, she has yet not destroyed. There is no one way for all, and by its nature, the occult is for but a few. Step into the ocean at night with care.